Innovation is to make change to something already established by introducing new ideas. Innovation that is something that can help our world become even better. One of those important innovations is the electric car. The electric car has a very positive effect on the world. Electric cars were first invented in 1830 by a Scottish businessman named Robert Anderson. This was the first electric car, or as known at the time, the electric carriage. It was a very crude model and was not widely used at first because they were not practical. It wasn't until around 1910 that electric cars were in high demand. During this time, they accounted for around 30% of vehicles on the road. Thomas Edison saw the popularity of the electric car and helped make advances. Ferdinand Porsche also helped by introducing the first hybrid vehicle. Then came the Model T car, which led to the decline of the electric car. In the 1960s, electric cars were used on the very first moon missions. In the 1970s, the city car became very popular. In the 1980s, GM released a very new fully electric car. In 2000, Toyota released a new Prius hybrid. And recently, Mitsubishi has released a fully electric car, along with Nissan, who has released their very own Nissan Leaf, and Tesla has released the new Model S. Electric cars are helping our Earth become a greener planet.
What has Tesla done to lead the way for electric cars?
Tesla advanced the electric car, tenfold by demonstrating that you could make a car that's fun to drive, is quick, has good range. One of the biggest knocks on electric cars was the short range. Even though most people don't drive more than 50 or 60 miles in a day, that was a tough target for some of the early electric cars. Tesla, has 200-mile range basically, so range starts to become not as much of an issue,
Yeah.
Benefits of electric cars, they're quite clean. Obviously, they run on electricity, right?
Yeah.
And so the electricity can be developed from almost anything. It can be nuclear, it can come from hydroelectric power, which is very clean. It can come from wind power. So you've got this nice source of electricity, which can come from different forms. And even from a coal-fired plant, the electricity can be cleaner because at a stationary power plant, they have the emissions devices, and also their efficiency tends to be much, much better converting the coal to electricity.
Do you recommend electric cars?
Could I honestly recommend an electric car? For some people,
That's a good answer.
I've got at my work, with the tax incentives they offer, the government wants you to run an electric car, so they offer some really good leasing deals. And basically, the leasing deals are so cheap that they're about, as long as you don't have to go too far, like more than 70 or 80 miles in a day, they actually the leasing is about as cheap as putting gasoline into a car that's only got 15 miles per gallon, let's say. So, if you're the right person, the government wants you to buy these, and it could work out pretty well. Have electric cars changed for the better? That's your number 5. Yeah, they've changed a lot, and they have changed a lot for the better in terms of, because the lithium batteries that are now available that are pretty high energy, and the powerful electric motors they've developed, these induction motors. And your last question was, will electric cars become more prevalent as the oil in the world diminishes? Let me go back to the phone call here. That's a really interesting question, because everybody has always talked about peak oil. We're running out of oil. And the reality is we've got at least another 100 years of oil sitting on the ground. It's not too terribly hard to get at. It's getting a little more expensive.
Yeah.
But as you can see by these recent events, oil collapsed by 40% because the shale that we were drilling in the United States, all of a sudden there was a lot more oil coming out of the ground, and all of a sudden we're in a worldwide glut,
Yeah.
And so there's more oil being produced than we're consuming right now. That won't last forever. Electric cars are certainly the future at some point. and it'll be, it's a transition that takes time.
Electric cars have a greater positive impact on the world. An electric car is very quiet and very smooth. All you have to do is pull into your garage or driveway, plug it in, and push it into the charging inlet. In most parts of the world, electricity is very cheap, given the efficiency of electric cars compared to internal combustion. The cost per mile to fuel an electric car is approximately 1/3 to 1/4 the cost of gasoline. Electric cars don't have exhaust systems and do not need oil changes, which means maintenance costs are reduced. Electric cars, even in coal-dependent regions, have a smaller environmental impact than your everyday vehicle. In regions with a strong grid mix of renewable energies, the emission benefits are dramatic. Electric cars don't have a real benefit to improving air quality. In addition, another positive effect is on societies and global relationships. For example, the electric car has a huge effect on Saudi Arabia. The United States currently imports approximately 60% of its total oil supply. 20% comes solely from Saudi Arabia. With more electric cars and less oil, the US will no longer be promoting worldwide terrorism. Sure, there are also some negative effects of electric cars, such as a very long refueling time and more expensive to buy. But there will always be downfalls in this case. The positive impact greatly outweighs the negative. In conclusion, our group believes that electric cars have a huge impact on the world, which is more positive than negative. We think that electric cars can have a positive effect on societies and global relationships.